Hey guys, hope everyone's doing super well. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about dealing with your own shit, okay? And this is something that comes up for everyone, all right? So we'll wait a little bit for Facebook to get a few people on. But this is something that come up a fair bit. Something we deal with I think we deal with really well in our programs, in our motorsport development program, the races we work with. But just wanted to share a little bit of insight with you guys on how this affects you. Okay, so success in anything, whether that's with business, whether that's with training, nutrition, riding, work, career, anything, is always based on how you're able to handle your emotions. Okay, emotional intelligence. Our emotions dictate our actions. Okay, so although you may have the best intentions, you may have the correct skills, you may have the right information, the right knowledge to be able to get the result that you're after. You let your emotions get in the way of being able to implement that and achieve that, okay? And that's why it's important to be able to have high levels of emotional intelligence. What that means is being able to know when you're acting emotionally, okay, when you're becoming emotionally involved in something, and being able to let go of those emotions and actually work out what's best for you. So a lot of people will let other things, for training, for example, let other things in their lives creep into their training, which affects their training, okay? And their success with training. If it was that easy just to stick with training, everyone would be fit, right? But everyone has things that come up emotionally, which stop them from doing it. They know they've got to train, they know they've got to do the work, they know they've got to eat the right stuff, but they don't do it. And that's because emotions start to come into play. So what I wanted to talk about today is everyone has their own shit that they're dealing with. Okay, everyone has their own stuff, which is holding them back, which is getting in the way of the things that they want. And this comes up for everyone. Okay, so some people, you tend to talk to some people, so you probably have friends like this, okay, or people that you know of, in certain cases. Okay, you'll have your group of friends or group of people that you know that always have something wrong. Okay, there's always something going wrong. Everything just seems to be happening to them. Okay, they're prone to just shit happening. Okay, they've got people in hospital, they've got sick, they've got kids that have got something wrong, something's going wrong with their kids, there's something wrong with their bike, something wrong with their racing. Okay, a whole heap of shit going on. Likewise, you've got other people that seem like nothing is ever going wrong, that everything's really super happy, everything's going well. Okay, and they're progressing along and living a really happy and fulfilling life. Now, the difference between these two types of people is nothing. Okay, everyone has their own shit going on. Yes, in some cases there's going to be certain things that are a little bit worse than others, but on most cases it's relatively a level playing field. We're going to have some people that have a little bit problems that are a little bit worse. Some people are going to have problems that aren't as bad. Okay, but all in all, we've all got our own shit. Okay, and it's all important to individuals, but it's not necessarily important to other people. Okay, so obviously when it's happening to you, it's a big issue. But when it's not happening to someone else, it's hard for them to be able to grasp what's happening or how you're feeling. So what I wanted to talk about is everyone has their own shit to be able to deal with. Okay, everyone has their thing that's holding them back or something that's getting in the way of what they want to achieve. But it's how you deal with these things which decides the long-term success, whether you use these as an excuse or a way of holding yourself back, self-sabotage, from actually being able to get what you want. Okay, so when I say that, so like we have those two groups of people, is number one, being able to define which person are you. Are you someone that is perceived by people outside of you as someone that's always having something wrong? Think about this. When you go and catch up with your friends, okay, what do you talk about? All right? And what you'll find is that some of the conversation, or for some of you, it'll be a small amount of the conversation. For some of you, it may be the whole conversation, is speaking about things that are going wrong. The more you talk about the things that go wrong, the more they're going to go wrong, because that's where you're drawing your attention. Okay? And the example I use for that is when you probably had an experience of buying a new car or liking a new car. Okay, and then you've probably never seen this car and you see it once, you're like, shit, yeah, that's an awesome car. I love that one. I want to have that one. Okay, I've never seen one of them before. And then all of a sudden you get the car, or you start looking into it more, and you start seeing those cars everywhere. Okay? You start seeing a shit ton of these cars. Before, you never saw them before. It's the first time you saw them. Now you see them everywhere. And this is the same thing that happens with your brain as well. So what happens when we have negative things or things that are coming up, and we keep talking about them and going over them again and again and again, we only pick out the things in our life that are holding us back. And that's what we focus our attention on, much like the car. Okay, so what do you think is going to happen when we change that to the opposite and we only focus on the positive things or the good things that are happening? Then what that's going to happen is mean that we're going to see a lot more positive things that are happening in our life. Well, often what happens is we fall into the trap of falling in all the things that aren't happening. We forget about all the stuff that is happening and all the good stuff. Okay, and so what that means is that shit happens to everyone. Okay, so everyone has their own stuff going on. So like for me, for example, last week was one of the tougher weeks. Okay, so woke up, so had Monday last week. It was awesome. Trained, did everything that I normally do, made my calls, worked with our races, and did all the work that we had to do. Right. Later on that week, I had a shit ton of calls with racers that wanted to talk about programs, talk about training, people that we were working with, potential clubs that we were working with that we were trying to that we were going to do some work with. Okay, some really cool stuff and some stuff that had taken a while to be able to organise. Likewise, also had some videos with a videographer, set a time aside to be able to schedule some time to do videos to put into our new programs. Okay, all scheduled out. Now, last week on Tuesday, I woke up Tuesday, okay, and noticed that my voice was starting to disappear. So I was starting to get a little bit sick. So I got to a point where I actually had no voice. Okay, so what I had to do is all my calls is I changed them. So I was like, okay, it's a little bit sore today. Hopefully it'll be good to go in the next couple of days. So I moved all my calls, all the meetings we had, organised them all, moved them forward. I got to that point in time, and it actually gotten worse. Okay, so you can probably hear now a little bit. Still got a little bit of or still recovering a little bit. But before it was like there was nothing coming out. My mouth was moving and there was no sound. Okay, or very limited sound. It was just little noises. So then I had to, all those meetings that I'd scheduled, I then had to reschedule them again. So I had to go and harass everyone. I had to annoy the shit out of them because they've had made time in their plans, and I had to move it to the following week. So I had to do that. Okay, that included moving the videos that I needed to get out and get done that I now couldn't get done. So now I'm under the pump to be able to get those videos done, or have done them now, organised them already, to get those videos done because they need to be able to go out in time. Okay, so that's the first thing. So number one, wasn't able to talk to anyone, wasn't able to communicate, wasn't able to do all the things that I do on a daily basis, as well as what I need to, which becomes frustrating for some people. Okay, so I worked on the stuff that I didn't have a chance to, or that it didn't involve too much speaking. Okay, I could just sit on my computer, a bit of writing, and things like that, a bit of planning. And then the next thing that happened after that is my car decided to shit itself. So I've had my car for about 5 years, never had a single drama. And it starts shooting all these lights at me. So it gets all these lights flashing up on the dash. They stop me from being able to drive the car. So I got stuck in a car park for a little bit. I had to sit in the car park for about half an hour, then turned it back on and got it going. It happened to be going. So I got home, took it to get serviced. Their service guy was sick. So the other guy looked at it, reset the whatever they did. The problem disappeared. I went back home, drove it for a couple of days, happened again. Then went to take it back to the service place. The guy that was supposed to be doing the service was sick, so I wasn't able to do it. Then just today, actually, brought it down to another service place, which they referred me to. Got it checked, they reset it, it was all good to go. Got home, it came up with the warning lights again, so drove it back to the place. They told me that they were fully booked, so I had to take it somewhere else. Okay, so all this stuff is not planned. I haven't planned any of this. I've got a day full of calls and things that I need to do, and it's all been changed. Okay, done that. Got there to go and get my car service. He said he's full. I said, okay, I'll book it in down the road and take it there. So I get in the car. I'm literally on the phone booking the appointment to be able to put my car in down the road, and the car doesn't start. Okay, so I'm stuck in the car park with my car not being able to start. And what's happened? The battery's died. So I haven't had the battery replaced for 5 years. So obviously it was time for that. But just a coincidence happens to be at the same time as I'm having problems with the dash as well, with the electronics. So a whole heap of stuff's gone wrong. Okay, a whole heap of stuff has not gone to plan. But the moral of the story is, after my rambling for a little bit about what's been happening over the last week, okay, is that this shit happens to everyone. Everyone has their own stuff that's happening, okay? That's what happened for me over the last week. You've had something else. Your friends have had something else. Your family's had something else. Your mum, your dad, your brother, your sister, your cousins. They've all had different shit going on that's affecting them, okay? But it's how we perceive it. You didn't see me coming up on the live streams or coming up on the call, posting up on Facebook, oh, this week's been fucking shit. It's the worst week ever. Everything's not going wrong. Nothing's working with me. My car's fucked. I've taken it to get service. I can't get good help anywhere. Been to 2-3 different service places and they can't book it in. Why are the mechanics sick? Okay. Why am I even sick? I hate getting sick. Okay. You don't see all that shit because I don't focus on it. That's not where I focus my time and energy. And a lot of people, or a lot of racers get sucked into focusing their energy on the stuff that they can't change, the stuff that they can't control, when they need to be focusing their things on the things that they need to be focusing their time and energy on the things that they can control that are actually going to make them better and make them productive. And when we focus our time there, we get more of it. Okay, it's exactly like with the analogy I used at the start of looking for a specific car. Okay, when you find a new car that you like, you happen to see them everywhere. Okay, before that, you never saw them before. So that's important to be able to note, to be able to make sure, okay, that you focus on the good stuff, okay, no matter how bad it gets. There's going to be bad times, there's going to be good times, okay, but it's how you move through and how you perceive those times is what's going to be able to get you through, okay. And the whole time, I was happy as. There was a whole bunch of shit going wrong, and there wasn't one time that I was angry or pissed off or frustrated. It was just stuff that was happening, okay? It's how you deal with it, and that's what allows you to be productive over the long term, to be able to hit your long-term goals, okay? So, bit of theory today, guys, not so much practical, but talking a little bit about mindset, being able to deal with your shit, okay? So I hope that helps you guys to be able to deal with your shit. Hey, Brent, hope that helps you guys, and remember, train hard, race harder. See you guys.